Welcome back to the Cranium Cast podcast. I'm your host, Justin Carroll, and today I have a good friend of mine and also one-fourth of my roommates, Samuel Ivery, aka the Gus Bus, aka Young Schlammethan.
What's up? How's
Welcome.
it going?
Welcome to the podcast. It's really good to finally kind of get you on because
Yes, sir.
we've been talking about it for a while, but it's in motion now.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get on here for a minute. I love your podcast. You
I
smart,
appreciate
beautiful
it.
brain.
I appreciate it. I actually I've been trying to do more this year, and I actually want to keep them at like a decent consistency.
Yeah,
But we'll
I
see.
think you should.
We'll see. I'm trying. It's just mainly schedules and just topics, but it'll come. It'll be okay. Dude, I don't know. This is probably this is a podcast I haven't like planned too much in advance for,
Right.
but I feel like we were having a good talk and we're like, oh, we'll just continue it.
Yeah.
But I said it earlier and I've talked about it a little bit today, but I don't know when this will come out. But today is January 14th, and a year ago today I had my first brain surgery, which led to the Cranium Cast kind of in its own way and a little joke I made, and that's really cool. It actually started because I remember after my first surgery,
Mm-hmm.
I was home. I was talking about like with my friends. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be home all the time now, so I'll just do some podcast and we'll call it like either the Cranium Cast or like something from the bed, because like I wasn't leaving my bed much, so I was like,
Right.
this will be my bed talk or something.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, and it's really crazy because like seeing how much like I talked about in my New Year's podcast, but like the growth and change and everything that's kind of happened in this past year is crazy. But like I've had my highs and lows and my valleys and mountains or whatever.
Right.
But like I wouldn't change any of that stuff. I think it's so cool. Like I think that shapes you and molds you.
Yeah, and one thing about you is that you always make the best of a situation, I think.
I try.
Yeah, you like
I appreciate
just like you
that.
were talking about making a podcast when you didn't have anything to do. Like,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Definitely. I try. I think I think I have such a big focus on it, and I'm sure you could probably relate a little. 'Cause like I overthink a lot, and
Yeah.
so like I try to make sure that when I can, I want to control that more. I want to do better at handling myself and my attitude and just kind of how I respond to things in my mentality as a whole.
Yeah. That's important, and like being a good person, I guess, you know, being someone that can handle situations and handle things. Like, you wrestle in school and all that thing. You know, getting through that isn't easy. You know, life isn't easy. And
Yeah.
being able to flow through life like that is just necessary.
Yeah. And we were talking about it earlier, but like, when I say it to people now, I feel like I'm like, I need to explain this better. But
Yeah.
like flowing is such a good phrase for it though, like in life.
Yeah.
And because we started off, whenever I first started hearing that more, honestly, it was back when we first moved in August, and we would be downstairs, messing around in the living room or whatever, and you guys first started doing like your little poses or whatever, and you're like strong like rock,
Yeah,
flow
yeah.
like water, and like you guys would say that
Yeah.
all the time, and I'm like, oh my god, here they go again. But like, in all honesty though, like learning to flow, and I just kind of look at it as like you keep going
Right.
and you don't get hung up on something.
Yeah. It's all about the present.
Okay.
You know, flowing is just being able to live and think in the present. Instead of the past is what sadness and depression comes from, and
Yeah.
the future is what anxieties come from. And if you focus on the present, it's nothing but the present. It's what's going on.
Oh man, dude, that's such. I've never even realized that like the tense that you're in, like past, present, or future, like
Right.
like depression and anxiety are really just kind of are really similar routed, but like they come from futuristic
Different.
and
Yeah.
past tense things.
Different
I've never associated it like that, but that makes sense though, because
Yeah.
I will say like my second surgery, I think that caused me some anxiety and stuff, and I was
Right.
really like worried about that for a bit, but like that was all futuristic stuff that I would usually be worrying over, and then that's fair to say like anyone who has like anyone who feels like they have depressed feelings, and not maybe that they're not necessarily depressed themselves, but like
Right.
or if they are like I feel like most of that comes from, in my experiences at least, like that's all
Right.
past tense stuff.
And
I've never
not
heard
even
about that.
like, and when I say depression, I'm not talking
Yeah.
like a clinical depression necessarily, but just, you know, everyone has a depressed phase in their life. You know, after something, they go through something, they look back on it, and they're like, dang, I wasn't good enough, you know, whatever. You know, that's the depressed feeling I'm talking about.
That makes sense though.
Right. So, you know, staying in the present, like Bruce Lee and all of, and Taoism and all of these things teach, you know, it's, you need to stay in the present, just flow with it, just go with what's going on.
I like learning about a lot of that kind of stuff and just hearing about it more and more.
Right.
And that's why I like our little talks about stuff, because you know, I'll have my little goofy things here and there that I'll show you, and then you'll have some really cool stuff that you'll show me, and I'm like, oh dude, like I've never even thought of this before, or I'm like, I thought this was like, if I was window shopping and I saw this, I'd never even step close to that store, but like when you showed it to me, I'm like, dang bro, like I've been missing out, and I'm like, this stuff's cool. And I feel like I don't know, a lot of the stuff that like my mentality, my approach to things, and the way I describe it, like instinctively, I guess, or initially, is like, it sounds very hippie talk or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I feel like that stuff just has not necessarily a negative connotation with it, but it already has this kind of image painted for it. Yeah. You know? And it's like, no, like I'm still like a normal person, you know.
Yeah, it's very Eastern thinking. You know, it's not a way of thinking that people around here have.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I reject a lot of that stuff anyway, naturally, just like anyone else around here would. But some of it, you know, you look at it and you see how it affects you in life, just as we were talking about flowing like water, and, you know, other things from like Stoicism talks about like controlling your feelings and being able to build a foundation as tall as Mount Fiji, and you can look down and all the things, you know, whatever, and stuff like that, you know, how that can apply into your life. But some of the other stuff is just kind of out there.
Yeah, like I'll pick and choose my little highlights.
I
that
pick
I like.
and choose what I
okay,
what I
that's fair
it,
then.
You know?
That's fair. What was it? Yeah, like with that one episode of Midnight Gospel, it's the magic one or whatever, and that dude that was in the prison, for something that he didn't even do or whatever, like, and he served life in prison, and he was talking about how like magic's like the Western version of all that, a lot of that kind of stuff, or a lot of those. It's just a Western version of like the Eastern kind of traditions, whatever. Because like when you talk about like Hinduism or a lot of like other things, he says around here it's like that doesn't make sense, or people don't like, it's not our method or whatever of taking that stuff in. So when you present it in a magic sense, it's a lot more common for people to talk about that here, and you hear it when people talk about manifestation all the time. Yeah, they believe in that, but like similar practices and other things and practices, it's just not like a typical thing because it's so, I guess, taboo.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it, taboo.
I always think to say that word, but I always forget. Like, am I saying this in the right sense?
Yeah, I mean, but people around here, I've been hearing talk about this law of attraction and the vibrations that you put out, all that stuff. But you know, they reject a lot of the other things that really come with that. You know, and like all of that stuff bases around that we're all God and everything is God and stuff like that. Which, you know, personally, I think we agree that that's not true. Yeah. But like, you know, we see God in everything, that God has made everything. He's controlling everything, whatever, but God is not everything. You know. Right. You know, like,
yeah, I get what you're saying. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, like I get what you mean.
Our religion doesn't say that. Like our religion is against that.
So like, and not that you're necessarily just like going against your religious beliefs, but being open-minded and at least like not considering things, but just being informed, essentially. Like it's just being like intelligent on stuff like that. And if anything, like that does test your faith at that point. That tests your beliefs, and then you can walk away from that a confused person or someone who's like, yeah, I know what I believe in this. I still stand by those like beliefs.
Right. I mean, when you look into these things, like people spent their whole lives studying this stuff. Yeah. And like over and over trying to prove this stuff. So it's not like all of it can be false. Like I don't see how someone smart could make something so false and everyone believe it, you know?
Yeah, sometimes, and we've talked about it before, and like I don't know how much this sounds like just something I say now because I'm just dumb and young. But I feel like from not like necessarily always in a religious view of things, just so that way I don't like say something too like ignorant or stupid or whatever, but like in a cultural sense, I think there's practices and things that like certain cultures will look at other cultures for, and they'll be like, that's weird, like you guys are weird, but like they claim, everyone has their kind of their niche or their whatever that like, or their niche that like they cling to, and as a cultural thing, like in our country or whatever, we have I couldn't name an example off the top of my head, but like we have our things, and it's kind of like for us, maybe if we use therapy, like actual physical or like physical therapy or therapy with like a therapist and them helping you with your like mental issues or just things to talk about in general, we have that as a practice, while like other countries have other practices, and because their cultures were brought up differently, and so they have all these things they go to, whereas like people treat the mind, or especially with like mental stuff and psychological stuff, like so many people have these different ways of doing it, and they all claim like there's so many people that'll claim like positive like results from it, like it worked, it did its job, but like with maybe everything that comes in that package, certain people are often more likely to reject because of it. But it's like, hold on though, like with this thing they did though, this seemed to like actually work and be influential, and so like this might, and like people. And you can, if you're, I'd say I feel like if you're open-minded, you can find those practices and you can find those tools
the
and
ones that work for
the ones that help for you, because everyone's different at the end of the day. Like what works for you doesn't always work for me.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
I heard that initially in a different way when I was in church, like in high school, and my pastor was like, as like a preacher or whatever, like you can't compare. And you can't. It's like in a same thing in an athletic sense. If you start making everything materialistic about wins and losses at the end of like just simplifying it, and in the preaching sense, like if you compare how many people you saved or influenced or done this for, and you compare that to some people, like some people are gonna have or feel like they did a lot. Some people are gonna compare themselves to other people, like we do in all aspects of our life, and be like, oh dang, I didn't do that much, and like, I only saved one person. And he was talking about like, if you only saved one person, you don't know if that dude could be the next Billy Graham and save millions of people and do all this stuff, or at the end of the day, you helped that person. So like in anything that we do, like, we all have a different like audience and a demographic, and like the way I articulate myself makes sense to other people, while the way you articulate yourself makes sense to people I can't reach. And that's something that was like, oh, cool. So it's not a comparison thing, and it's not like a something that I should be like self-conscious about or whatever. It's like I have my highlights and the things that I'm good at, and I have my accolades or whatever you want to call it, my skills, and like you have yours, and everyone's kind of different, Even if me and you were to go down similar like career paths, like personalities, we have all these differing factors that make us us.
Yeah, I mean we're brought together. I mean we're like-minded people, but we have like much different lifestyles and skills,
and so with that brings us like all these different things, and it's like we'll find little things that we connect on, and then we'll find other stuff. I'm like, oh dude, I wish I could do that like you could, and you're like, oh dude, I wish.
And there's some things that just don't work for the other person.
That's fair.
It's like that sometimes.
That's totally fair.
But like like you're saying, being open-minded, that allows you to see these things and apply them into your life, especially in relationships and friend relationships, family, whatever. You're learning from them also if you're staying open-minded.
True. And I think like my mom will say it a lot, and she'll be like, I'm like, Mom, I thank God that like He gave me wonderful parents like y'all. I'm thankful for that, because you guys have helped done a lot for me. And she's like, I don't feel like you're giving me too much credit. She said that today when I sent her like my post or whatever, and she was like, you give me too much credit. I don't do that much or whatever. And I'm not saying my mom is like that, because I think that woman, or my parents both as a whole, have done so much for me. But like, everyone picks something. Like, you learn from your parents, you learn from those people around you, and even if it's not in like a traditional sense, like what they want you to learn, you pick up on things and habits and things, and you pick up like, oh, I want to start doing that, or I see where this issue was caused from, like, because I'm watching from an outsider's point of view. I'm just seeing, I see both sides, so it's like, I know how to avoid this now, or I know I feel like I could handle this better, and then maybe I don't, but like I tried.
I mean, just like we were talking about earlier, like parents, coaches, and stuff like that, they teach you the craziest things.
Yeah.
You're like, what is this? This is so stupid. And then like 20, however many years later, you're like, oh, yo.
Yeah. No, it's weird because it's like we were talking about earlier how like I was talking about it with my surgery, and how I don't have God's eyes, in my life, and so I don't know what that man sees and why he puts me where he puts me, and so like in the moment sometimes we're like, man, this sucks, but then later on we're like, this did this for me, like all because of this one action or this one event, like was the catalyst and led me to all of this. It's like, whoa.
And it all just comes together, and then he just ties a little bow on it.
Yeah. And then it's like with our parents too, like that's what he was talking about earlier with like just how like, our parents will teach us something or talk about something when we're kids, and we're like, okay.
Trying to develop these like little habits. And
yeah.
Like, just like even down to the smallest things, like brushing your teeth. I mean, like really, I would not brush my teeth every day if my mom didn't tell me brush my teeth every day.
Honestly, yeah. I don't know. Like I remember, I wouldn't. Oh man, this is funny. I wouldn't shower. Like when I was in like elementary school and stuff, I hated showering.
Right.
Now I wasn't like, I hated being dirty if I was like outside playing or whatever all day, but like I'd shower then. But like if I just was staying inside doing my thing, I'm like, I don't need to shower. And then after like a couple of days in the summer, it would always be in the summer. Yeah. And after like a couple of days, like my hair started like not stinking, but like I could smell it. Yeah. I guess it was stinking then. It was definitely it smelled.
And I'm like, I mean, you're a little boy.
Yeah, and I'm like, I guess I'll shower now, like if I have to, or like my hair would be. I have really oily face and hair, so I'm like, my hair would get really oily and annoying, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go shower now, whatever. And I'm like, I'm gonna speed run this shower, and now I'm like, I love being clean. Like why was I like that before?
Yeah, my little brother. I'm gonna go off on a little rabbit trail.
Oh, okay.
My little brother used to like get in the shower, and he would like turn the shower water on, and he would like stand in the shower behind the water, so that he didn't shower, and he would like get his hair wet, and then he would get out the shower. My mom would be like, "Get your ass back in that tub, before I gotta bathe you." But this kid would not bathe. He was just like that coming up. Yeah, he still don't anyway. That boy's thing. I love my brother. I'm not dissing him, but
yeah, no, that's funny though. Oh my gosh, it's funny like, do you see like in your little brother? Do you see like habits that you did when you were his age and be like,
oh, dude, yes.
Like, oh man, I remember when I did that, or I'm like, oh, so it wasn't like, not like you just kind of make those parallels, and it's like it wasn't just me, and junk like that. I see that with my little brother all the time.
Yeah, it's awesome. It like my little brother. So like when I was his age, I was playing drums in my church. And he started playing drums at his church. Yeah. And like this kid, he's never played a drum in his life. He just started that out of nowhere. I was like, dude, I know where you got that from. I know your secret.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. And he's going into the car,
Oh my gosh, yeah, heck yeah.
Everything like
following, the apple doesn't fall far.
Yeah.
That's what's up though. With Cody, I'll see, it's mainly with like his taste and the games he plays, and so I mean, because all that man does is watch YouTube and play like Roblox or Minecraft. Yeah. Or now he's playing Overwatch. He's gotten into Overwatch now. If he's probably better than me though.
Oh, you play Overwatch?
I played it a little bit for a minute, but like I don't have the game. I had it when it was free on PlayStation for like a month. Oh, and then I don't know.
I know like 2 people that play Overwatch. Like nobody plays that game.
Really? I wish I had it.
Except PC people.
Oh, facts. But like with him, I'll see him get into like, he'll start watching these YouTube videos or whatever, and he'll start watching these certain YouTubers. I'm like, especially with Minecraft, bro, because like I started playing Minecraft in 2011, and so I was on the game pretty early. Like I was on it when it was in beta, and sprinting wasn't even a thing yet in the game. And whenever I see that, like I tried to go back for a minute and just
Mhm.
like for nostalgia, and immediately I was like, this sucks. Walking somewhere takes forever. You
Yeah.
have to have a whole half of your inventory set out for food because you can't stack anything. I was like, this thing sucks. But
Dude, I never even I didn't even know about Minecraft back then. I
oh
didn't
my
even hear
gosh,
about it.
it was great. But like I would see Cody, like I would be watching Minecraft YouTubers because I was like
Yeah.
Cody's age, and I'm seeing him watch these YouTubers I'm watching, and I'm like, oh, you got good taste. And then like, you know, I don't know if it's just me, but I'll be honest or whatever. Like, you know, when you're a kid, especially like that transition to early middle school,
Right.
like sixth grade, I'd say was the worst for me. Uh, like you're just slowly aging or whatever, and I was into some dumb YouTube videos or some dumb
bro,
like
yeah.
shows or like um junk. I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Like
you're
that's
still a kid.
embarrassed.
You're
Yeah,
still a
like I was a
kid.
kid, but looking
Yeah.
back and I'm like, I was one of those kids, bro. Like I was doing that. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
embarrassing for me now.
Like, I mean, you look at 12-year-olds now, and just like you were a 12-year-old at one
Yeah.
time, and like I remember how weird I was as a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
dude.
Exactly. So it's just like, okay, like, you know, everyone kind of has that. It's like I'll see that with Cody. Like,
Yeah.
he'll start getting into some show or some like whatever video series, whatever, and I'm like, dude, this junk is terrible. And I'm like, why are you watching this? I'm like, I'm trying to help him, and I'm kind of bullying. Like my mom's like, you don't need to be so mean to him. Like he's not watching anything bad. And I'm like, Mom,
This
like
is lame.
I'm trying to keep this man from getting bullied. Okay,
Exactly.
like I don't know who's gonna bully this man, but I'm like, I don't want him getting caught in the crossfire. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, and then I'm sitting there in my brain. I'm like, I was that guy at one point. I was like, I don't know if Cody can be so low key about this. So I'm like, let me help you. Let me help you. Like not be like me. Like be better than me. Just be better.
Yeah. Now in middle school, I just hung out with my friends. So it was just me and like my two friends.
Mhm.
Bro, we did not care about nobody else. When I tell you, all of them other people were out there talking all they mess to us, you know, we did not care, bro. We just did our thing.
Yeah.
We were weird.
Yeah,
just did our
I
thing.
was so weird, but I feel like that was prime for like me just doing myself.
Yeah.
I had a little couple buddies too. It was my boy Devin, and my boy Michael.
Yeah.
And Michael also likes drawing, and that dude's a beautiful like artist or whatever. Like that dude could draw so well in middle school even, and like he's hilarious too.
Mhm.
That dude's just goofy. And we all just started like we all got along and we all just started hanging out. And I remember we'd always go to Devin's house,
Yeah.
and this dude had an SNES with like all the Mario games on it.
Mhm.
So we'd be trying to play Mario, and like we'd play Mario 1, and like I don't know why, but like I loved the SNES games like back then. I'm like these are rare.
They were
And
dope, though.
yeah, and we just goof off to that. We started playing competitive Pokemon together. That's when Smash came out on the 3DS, so we were playing Smash, and all trying to get good at that. And it's crazy now because all of them still play Smash together and they do stuff. And one of our buddies, Austin, is the #1 PacMan player in Georgia.
Yo.
And he
what?
took a game off a best of 3 series against a really good Smash player named Samsora, and he's like one of the top players apparently. I don't know much about him, but like when I tell anybody who knows like their Smash like lingo or like they keep up with it,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, my buddy took a game off Samsora, and they're like, what? And if I go on his Twitter and I'll see his highlights of him either playing like random online games
Yeah.
or just practicing on bots,
Mhm.
and some of the stuff that dude comes up with, I'm like, bro, you are some sort of genius. Like I don't know what you're on right now, but like you're going off right now. Like you're on a lot of Adderall. Like I don't know, but he's funny. Like it's just crazy because I'm like, dude, you're big brain.
Yeah.
Like I'm jealous. Like I could never come up with this kind of timing or like just thought.
Yeah, I was never good at like smashing like the combos and stuff. You know,
That's
like,
what's
we
cool
would
about
play.
Pac-Man. His combos are so crazy because he can throw all these different kind of fruit,
Yeah.
and they all do different things. So like, and every one of them has a different speed when you throw it and pattern. Like one of them like goes in like a little loop and then straight back out, and then one of them just goes really slow. One goes really fast, and the pineapple freezes you. So like that gets you in good positions to do all this stuff, and it's like.
Huh.
He just has all the, and he can throw down a fire hydrant. I don't know why a fire hydrant, but he throws down a fire hydrant, and if he like, if you hit it enough, you can knock it, and if it hits someone, like it'll do damage. So it's like you have all these options.
That's crazy.
You have all these
Yeah.
options. Like it's overwhelming.
Dude,
For sure.
I was thinking a few weeks ago, me and like my coworker were talking. I was thinking about getting a Switch.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to play Smash.
Well, Cody got one
like,
for
bro.
Christmas a couple years ago, and like he didn't touch it for the whole year.
Yeah.
And I was like, he just started playing it again, and I was like, Mom, if he's not gonna put that to use, like I'll put it to use.
Yeah,
like I'll take it.
Like,
I'm like trying to get it for free,
yeah,
and just being a bum. And she's like, no, he's been wanting games for him. Like, are you sure? Like I can just give him like he can just have his PS4 and actually put that to use or whatever. And I'm like, I'm just trying to be stingy, but I'm like,
hey, no, dude, I want to Switch bad.
I want one.
My cousin has one, and we get on that Mario Kart. I love
Mario Kart's fun, man.
I could play Mario Kart for 26 hours.
Oh
straight.
yeah,
like, I love
for sure,
Mario Kart, bro.
For sure.
That game is so fun.
The one on the DS was probably my favorite.
That was a quality game.
Like I'd play that on the bus. I remember playing that on the bus to school.
Yeah.
And like just playing with kids like that, I'm like, if I won one of those games, I was the man.
We used to play at recess, bro.
Heck yeah. I remember.
But that was me and my two friends. You know what I'm saying?
I gave my one of my like old DS like Pokemon games to my boy, and he action replayed it and like gave me a bunch of like 999 Master Balls and like.
Oh yeah.
He was cheating stuff in my game, and I was like, this game's worth a lot now.
My older brother, when I was I think I was in like 6th grade or 5th grade, and we were still playing on DSs all the time. He got me an action replay for my birthday.
Oh, dude, I've never had one.
He ordered it online for like $10.
What?
And he got it for me on my birthday. It was the coolest thing. I broke all my games.
You know what's crazy though? Like it made me think of it. Like whenever we'd go and get games, like we all got them from GameStop. Like remember, I don't know if you were like ever into COD that much, but I remember like hearing about midnight release stuff, and people would be like in middle school, like because I started playing in Black Ops 2, and I remember this dude was like when Ghost came out the next year, he was like, I'm talking to him in the hallway, I'm like, oh, yeah. Looking back at it though, the only thing I hated about it was map size and health.
It just wasn't Black Ops 2.
Oh yeah, facts. It's hard to live up. That game was hard enough to live up to. And then they just were on a downward spiral for a second.
Yeah, really.
With like Advanced Warfare, I was like, oh man. But I was like, oh dude, did you go get the game? He's like, yeah, my parents let me go to the midnight release, and I was like, dude, it was a school night. And he's like, yeah, and he's like,
you went on a school night?
He's like, yeah, my parents are cool. And I'm like, oh yeah, and I'm like looking back at him, like, yeah, your parents are cool. Either they had nothing to do, or they really were like, yeah, I'm with my child at 12 a.m. and I have work tomorrow morning. It's like I'd rather be home right now. But like
his parents are really cool, and they just are celebrities.
Yeah,
and they don't go to work.
I know, yeah, and he just kept it low key.
Yeah, thanks.
But like hearing that, or like GameStop used to be so crazy, or so much crazier, and hearing about how it's like running out of business and stuff now, I'm like, it's about time.
I guess. I mean,
it's about time because I liked it, but like because I'd get a bunch of used. I remember getting used Pokemon games there because I'd always love seeing what they had on the game.
Yeah.
And just seeing how unique their like PC box was and like what storage they had. But like,
that's cool.
Yeah, but like, whenever I'd go and you try and give them stuff, like they were like, oh, $9. That's the best I can do for this.
Yeah, you would give them like your whole setup.
Yeah.
Your car.
Yeah, you don't get anything.
And then $3.
Yeah. They're like, oh no, yeah, we've been down bad for a minute. Like, why do you think we weren't giving you anything? It's like, don't hate us more now. Like, feel bad for us. Like, you're going in the wrong direction.
I just like last year I got like a little Xbox 360 for a little bit, and we would go to GameStop and get like really cheap used games, like $5-6, just buy like we got Rainbow Six Vegas, like Need for Speed, like a whole bunch of fun like old games, and like Skyrim was like $10. Gosh. I played like all of Skyrim.
I never played all of Skyrim. I've only played a little bit. I tried like when I used to make YouTube videos in middle school, I did a Let's Play for like 4 episodes of Skyrim, and I got to one of the first towns, like after you make your character and you kind of done stuff, and I started ragdolling all the things I killed, and that was really funny, just dragging the bodies around of like some animal or a person or whatever, and I'm like just doing goofy stuff with it, cause trying to be like funny for like me being 13.
Yeah.
And I remember I killed a chicken, and all the chickens came at me, and or all the people in the village were getting mad, angry at me. Yeah. And I remember like that's just something that happens or whatever in that place, and I was just like, well, this game's hard. I'm like, I'm done. And that was as far as I got. Like, if anyone's actually played that, they're like, wow, you didn't do anything.
The game is pretty tough, but
yeah.
I'm not like a gamer. Like, I have a lot of friends who play a lot of games, and so I hear about it a lot. But I've never really been like a gamer. So playing through Skyrim was like very like the controller is foreign to me.
Okay, that's fair.
That's fair. It was weird, and it was a lot of fun. It was hard as fuck, but it was a lot of fun. I've been trying not to cut.
Oh no, you're okay. You're okay. I appreciate it, but it happens for sure. It's not big. No, it's not biggie.
Beep that out. Get the editor on that. What's your editor's name? Anthony, beep that one out, please.
It's just like me. It's just me in like a hat and glasses. And it's just like, yeah, we'll fix that. And then I'm like, I'll look over there, and I come back and sit down. Take it down. I'm like, okay.
I just say something like really racist. Just Anthony, please bleep that out.
Anthony, please bleep that out. I was like, we weren't even on that topic. It's like, I just want to make sure Anthony's on top of things. Make sure he's actually doing his work.
Yeah, you could just edit all of this out.
Yeah, this actually, Anthony, take this whole talk off. We're actually done now. I don't.
We've been talking about video games for like 30 minutes.
No, it's been natural though. Like it's been
a good conversation.
It's been a good conversation.
This is a good like just Sam Juice talk. Like this is just our talks.
Yeah, and you guys just got smooched with that. There you go. No, honestly though, I was thinking that I was like, yeah, we're just talking about stuff, but it's like, it's just yeah, but it's like, it's good stuff. It's a good talk. Cause like I tried doing that before on a couple of these where I didn't plan anything going in. I'm like, oh, I always have great talks with this person, so I'm just gonna like just freestyle it, wing it, yeah. And then afterwards, I'm just like, oh my god, this is terrible. Like not against him or me, or like I'm like we just sucked, but
it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, trial and error for sure. But thanks for coming on the podcast though.
Yeah, bro, it was fun.
Yeah, it was a good talk. It was a lot of talk.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely have you on again for sure.
Yeah, dude. Let's do it.
For sure. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah, man. This has been Cranium Cast.
Cranium Cast.
Signing off.
Throwing up peace signs right now. You can't even see it.
That's the sign off sound.
My leg's asleep, bro.